Hello, and welcome to my breakdown of my Moodle Sandbox Final. I have chosen to create a course based around the first few sections of Visual Basic. This was created using some resources from Microsoft Visual Basic 2010 by Lawrenceville Press, vocabulary lists, objects lists, and lecture slideshows to be specific. When attacking the course as a whole, I decided on a laid-out, easy-to-access course. I wanted everything to be at the students' fingertips to address the multiple issues I sometimes have with the students and with myself as an instructor. As we go through, you will see that thread throughout. There is another aspect of my class, or any online class, that has not been spoken to or created due to the fact that it is beyond the scope of this class. In order to facilitate both students and instructors understanding the flow of the course and how to interact with the course, I would create a training course that would teach the individual student how to interact with and follow the general outlines of the course. This would include a mandatory hands-on class that discusses aspects of the course tools, how to interact with them, how to turn things in, and how to interact on discussion boards. Teachers would go through a similar training before they are given a course so they understand what and how to interact with a basic course shell. This patterns a college I work for, or Southwestern College. They require a 6-week introductory course for all instructors before they are given a class, and all students are required to go through an introductory course that lets them know how to use the basic course. Additionally, all courses follow a pattern in standard course shells so students and faculty have a familiarity with all courses they teach and the format. You will see that each element is laid out. The main menu is repeated in both form and breakdown in each trailing lesson. Pink are assignments with a breakdown in the individual lessons as well as clearly labeled parts. This begins with a brief overview of what the unit is about, followed by expectations and lesson flow. Indented under the lesson flow are the parts of the lesson to show ownership. This includes lecture, discussion board, Q&A discussion scheduled, quiz, and hands-on portion. It is important to note that there are dates provided next to the individual sections as a measure to let the students know in another form when things are due. This calendar object is included to show the due dates for different assignments so students are aware of posted due dates and scheduled events. These are highlighted in pink and show up detail when a mouse over is performed. If we take a look in a side-by-side comparison, we can see where the calendar follows the course dates exactly, so the students get an additional reminder on due dates when the course outline is displaying in addition to the course calendar itself. You'll notice this goes throughout. Now, if we look at the resources for the overall class, we have this broken down into 5 sections or pieces. The first, the Getting Started video, the second being a Getting Started checklist. Additionally, there is a discussion board that is meant for overall communication and questions concerning the course as a whole. The other 2 resources are books with a by-unit breakdown of the vocabulary and objects. It is important to note that the vocabulary list and the object list are given in each individual unit as a PDF, but are included in the Moodle book form, allowing the student to have easy access to all resources. Let's take a look at the individual unit breakdown and discuss some of the more important aspects of this. As the quiz and the hands-on portions are somewhat self-explanatory, I wanted to focus on the expectations, lecture, and discussion. As mentioned before, I attempted to use indenting techniques as well as labeling so certain things showed ownership to those that come before it. Additionally, I added dates so students would have a constant reminder of due dates in reference to these activities. This date reminder is a thread that follows throughout the program. This is a by-page breakdown of what the student is expected to accomplish and allows both the student and the instructor to reference the subject in the text. This serves to prepare the student and the instructor as well as gives them an idea of what the chapter is meant to do and what the student should get out of it. This would be a perfect subject for the discussion board, and if a student doesn't accomplish these, they need to revisit the chapter. The expectation list could be expanded to include another checklist that students have to check off on themselves in order to acknowledge items they have understood. Any unchecked items are then a basis for reteaching if necessary based on time and instructions allowing. This is a by-lesson breakdown of what is required or recommended per unit in order to remove all confusion as to which the items fall under either required or recommended. I've labeled each as such, leading with either required or recommended. What is also important to note is that each of the items in the lesson flow that is required to be handed in has a due date next to it. This matches to the due dates in both the calendar and the unit listing. This serves as another reminder to students concerning due dates and continues with the due date thread. This section serves students in providing guidance per unit in both PowerPoint and PDF formats, accessibility, and ease of use. The only PowerPoint is a lecture for this unit. The PDF mirrors the title and are the first two in the folder section. The other portions are supplemental material meant to assist the student in understanding this chapter. There are two folders, one marked Required, in which all the required elements of the unit are kept, and Supplemental, in which all the supplemental material of the unit are kept, making it easy for the student to find and determine. This section is the unit discussion with the prompts for the students, which allow for and serves to foster discussion between students concerning the units. First response dates are given before the slash and responses are given after. In the example, May 14th is the primary posting due date and May 25th is the second posting due date. Notice that there are multiple references to the due date which matches the calendar, the posting, and the by unit listing. So that way the students once again are reminded of dates. This is an overview of my overall Moodle course, Visual Basic, for the first 3 units. If you have any questions, please ask me individually. Thank you for your time.